Most applied machine learning projects suck. And full disclaimer, that includes my own. And that's why I've been going so deep into trying to find out what makes an ML project really shine. And today I'm going to be sharing with you what I've learned in a condensed way that's put together as a timeline and a guide that goes over the skills that are necessary to develop something truly useful while also attracting future employers. That's something that I'm personally following as well to make better side projects. So let's begin. Okay, so in my last video on starting out as a machine learning engineer or applied data scientist, I discovered three things in my research, right? It pointed me to data engineering, it pointed me to non-technical domain expertise, and it pointed me to deployment. And within these three fields, there are innumerable amount of skills that we need to learn as well to really stand out, either at work or when you're looking for a job. The problem with that is in school or online, when we're really learning about ML projects or how to go through and produce ML projects, what they preach to you as an end-to-end process really has the wrong ends in mind. They usually start with data preprocessing and end with fine-tuning to get better results for the model of your choice. But the truth is, there's a whole section outside of this scope that you really need to hone in on as well. So for example, it is not just how you collect the data and all the nuances that go with that, but it's also really identifying why and what are you collecting the data for, right? On the other extreme, it is how do you effectively deploy your models and how do you measure or monitor the model's progress after that. The timeline that I put together hopefully goes into all of these things, right? Not just the things in the middle, but also the things on the outside, to identify what's truly important and give you like a meaningful way to practice and digest what you need to learn on this crazy ML journey of ours. And it's based primarily on two books. The first is Building ML-Powered Apps by Emmanuel Mason, and I referenced it previously as well, but it's a really good book and I think you should check it out. It's all about machine learning engineering, the process at big companies and how they really apply that, right? It's all the nuances and little details that you need to know when building a prototype, when iterating on those models, and also when putting it in deployment. The next is Shape Up, which is a program management book, but it really helped me understand the process or the planning process on how to make sure that your project is fit right for the problem that you're trying to solve, but also it's the process of keeping on going, right? It's the process of making sure that you're on track and consistently reevaluating your goals and making sure that they are really what's necessary for this problem to be solved. It also has influences here and there from Andrei Burkov, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing his name wrong, but Andrei Burkov's new book, which is Machine Learning Engineering, The Lean Startup, and a bunch of conversations with experts. All right, so the timeline. It takes place over 6 to 8 weeks, and just to be clear, the team composition that I have in mind is one designer and one or two programmers, right? And that's just what Shape Up kind of does with their groups as well. The overarching goal is to ship the product within 6 weeks. And if you don't do that, they do what's called a circuit breaker. And a circuit breaker is a form of a penalty, essentially. They want to make sure that you ship no matter what the case may be, within those 6 weeks. Otherwise, they risk not continuing on with that project. So what they do is they have 6-week sprints, either if it's in the research phase or the feature phase or the deployment phase. They have 6-week sprints to make sure that whatever they have is shippable in 6 weeks. So if they reach a point where they can't ship in 6 weeks, they're going to cut off the project entirely, and that's it. That's the end of the project. No one works on it ever again. So it's interesting, and I don't know how yet I'll be implementing that with my projects, but there definitely has to be some kind of penalty, right? As harsh as it may sound, I think it's necessary for us to know, or for us engineers especially, to have in our mindset. Anyway, here's the simplified high-level version of my timeline that I'm putting together, right? So phase 1 is kickoff and identifying the right ML approach. This will take 1 week. So this is where you put together a plan that is flexible and leaving space for your engineers to be autonomous. It also solves the problem and is still constrained enough to finish within 6 weeks. So like I said earlier, right, most of us engineers are terrible at this. We have so much dreams and hopes for the future that it leads to many features or requirements that end up not amounting to much, right? End up not being what's most important. So in this phase, we don't just have to flesh out what it is we want. We have to know exactly what it is we don't want as well. Even if we identify those features in our dreams, we want to cut them off because that's not going to be feasible within the 6 weeks. All right, phase 2, building an initial prototype. This will be 2 weeks long, and this is where you start with something really simple. Even if it's completely rule-based, no ML at all, you want to make something that is usable by people, right? And even if it's super ugly, on the design side, making sure that it's completely usable and the users understand how to use it, firstly, is something that you want to build within these 2 weeks and put out there. So after you've built this super alpha version, you give it to a few people to test, and this is where you get it to really see whether there even is a problem in this space to be solving. And then you can also learn and prioritize from this, right? So you know how to continue going about solving the problem or creating that solution. Okay, phase 3, iterating on models. And this will also take 2 weeks. So after you get all that feedback, right, you gather it, you condense it, and this is where you determine the bottlenecks, like the true bottlenecks to your success metrics. This is where you prioritize, and then you work on developing solutions to combat these new problems that will arise for sure. And this is also where you get ready for full-scale deployment. The next phase is deployment and monitoring. That will last 1 week long. I'm sure it'll take more than this, but at least monitor your stuff for 1 week long. And this is where you put your app out there and watch as it most likely fails, and be ready to put out the fires as they come. And they will come, and they will come at the most unexpected times, even if you're not sure about it. And once again, look at the Building ML Powered Books, Building ML Powered Apps book. They go into how many ways your ML models can fail, and there's so many that I didn't even think about. But yeah, anyway. Phase 5 is cooldown, shaping, embedding. And this is all terms that are coined in the Shape Up book. And I really like it because they give their engineers and designers 2 weeks to just cool down, right? Rest their brains, but also smash any bugs that are pre-existing within the app that they created. And, if there are no bugs, or if there are no urgent bugs, they can just work on anything they like, right? They can explore different themes, they can work on different projects, they can try out new things. And this is where I will spend the 2 weeks just writing out new pitches for the next 2 months. That's what they do. Shaping to them is, writing out a pitch, making sure that the boundaries are set, but also making sure that it is understandable for the next 2 months. Betting is where they sit around and see all these pitches and bet on them. And I really like the term that they use, betting, and they go into it in more detail there, but betting to them is because it is only a 2 month long process that they can just pick something up, and if they lose the bet, that's all they waste, right? They only waste 2 months. But also it's betting because they're putting their faith into something that it's no longer in a backlog or anything. They're betting on something that is present and available. Anyway, moving on to the conclusion. So obviously there's so much more to all of this, right, that I am missing in the details, and I highly encourage you to check out the 2 books for more of those details, for more of the nuances that really go into this whole process. I also have an extensive list of personal notes that I've taken in a Google Doc. So if you're interested in a summarized version, it's there as well. If you just hate reading and want me to make a video, let me know, and I will. But I'll be honest, I actually don't enjoy making these kind of videos, or really most kinds of videos, because editing just isn't my thing, right? What I really enjoy doing is developing and learning. And this just so happens to be the best way for me to share what I've learned and to show off what I've developed and the love I have for these things, but to also communicate with the people that I genuinely love learning with. Alright, so for those of you who have watched till the end, here's a little secret. I'm about to start Chronic Coder Academy Season 2. For those of you who don't know, Chronic Coder Academy is where we have previously called 5 people every week just to lead them through their own projects, me and Lugus. We made sure that they had action items for the week. We talked them through their approach and making sure that they have the right solution in mind. And the people we narrowed it down to are pretty insane. I take no credit for their success, but since starting with us, 3 of them have amazing new jobs. One of them just started college and is working with a professor or two, and one of them is planning to escape his home country, which is a much longer term goal. But he and I are actually working together on our current project, just to battle test this process and making sure that it is ready for the next season. So yeah, this goal, or this time, my goal is to work with this system that I've written up and to produce projects that are not only seen and tested by people, but also ones that would make sure that we learn all that's necessary to solve the real world issues. So for example, right now we're using, Git, CI/CD, Docker, Flask, making sure it's out there, fast API. And then on the deployment side, we're using Google Analytics and a lot of other things that we're trying to really educate ourselves on. So last time it was all about games, and that was something that I specialized in. But I'm really ready to try out different domains as well. Preferably ones that I'm still somewhat knowledgeable in. I plan to start this in November, and I usually reach out on Reddit, Facebook, and Discord. But I think the best way to stay informed is on Discord or through email. And I'll make sure that you're notified when we start the selection process. And I'll mention over and over again, even if I don't get to work with you personally, I will always enjoy listening to the progress that you have on your own ML projects. And I think our Discord community has been amazing and supportive in that way, right? They always hear you out and they're always talking to you about how we could approach it differently and how excited they are for your project to continue forward. So please join us if you're interested in getting started and like to meet like-minded people, or if you already have a project going, we'd love to hear about it. Anyway, that's all from me. Thank you. See you next time.